So this is how it works with my mentoring clients. When people are getting in touch, they're looking for someone to mentor them, they generally have something that is they're looking to work through. So we start off by working through whatever that is. So if they're having a challenge, we find solutions to that challenge. If they're looking to get to the next stage or overcome a hurdle, then that's what it is that we focus on. I have lots of experience. I have gone through many different stages of work, like being an individual freelancer first starting out, working in-house for like a non-design company. I worked at a four-star hotel doing all their design for them. I've been a junior in a studio. I've then been a mid-level freelancer where I'm like hiring other people and directing shoots and managing teams, then to actually being a director of a company and hiring and running my own team. So the idea is to give that kind of experience when it's relevant. So I've got an idea of how I'd work through these things with people, setting out some goals, sorting out your money, getting your marketing strategy, putting processes in place, like these kinds of things. But for the first stage is to deal with whatever the initial problem is or deal with whatever the initial challenge is, and then start to put these things in place to set the foundations for growing the business. That's it, succinctly. The knowledge and the experience that I have comes in useful when it comes in useful. That there's no prescriptive step by step. I have a program that I work through, but it's about finding where the person fits into that program and then giving it to them the relevant information. And we get that relevant information by asking a load of questions. You will have found it yourself that if somebody gives you advice and it goes well, that's great. If somebody gives you advice and it doesn't go so well, then you can tend to feel a bit of bitterness towards that person. Like they advised you, they tried to give you help with this and it didn't work out. So why would they tell you that if it wasn't going to work? I don't like to work in that way. It's about finding out, helping you realize what it is that you need to do. I have lots of answers and I can give you answers, but there's been lots of times in my life where people have given me advice and it didn't necessarily go very well. Or it was the wrong advice because they weren't giving me advice. They were giving advice to the person I thought I was, or they were giving advice to their younger self. They were giving advice that was relevant for their journey, not the journey that I've been on. So I will ask lots of questions to find out where it is that you're at, the kind of challenges that you're having, and the kind of headspace that you're in. Like, what angle are you actually coming to this problem from? What knowledge do you have already? Where is it that you're trying to go with this? And then give you information, resources, insight, knowledge of my experience that can help you make better decisions for yourself. The ideal kind of relationship like this is for me to help you, give you the skills so that you can start to answer a lot of these questions on your own. It can give you the way of working, the ways of thinking that enable you to answer a lot of these challenges. You shouldn't be kept in the same place. You're progressing. You're trying to move towards your own goals. And the way that I work is to try and help you on that journey get to the next stage that you want to get to. So not the way that I necessarily think you should go or the way that conventional wisdom says you should go, but enabling you to take the path that you want to take to get to where you want to go. Example of what I mean. There's a guy that I work with intermittently, and we last winter it will have been. I remember it being very dark when we chatted. So last winter, he got in touch and we ended up talking for a couple of hours. He called me up in the middle of the day and we were chatting for a couple of hours, and he was telling me about the kind of work that he wants to do. So he's a videographer, and he was showing me the kind of work that he was doing then and saying he wasn't particularly happy with it. Like, he liked having the work and he quite liked the client, but it wasn't something that was inspiring him. And then he showed me this example of this portfolio of absolutely mind-blowing videography work. And then he showed me another folio and he showed me another folio. So this guy's really into surfing, and he's likes being outdoors, and he does lots of super cool stuff. And all the folios that he was showing me was like taking advantage of the kind of skills that you learn, and like the settings and all that kind of thing that you get from being a surfer. Um, and he showed me all this stuff, spent about 20 minutes going through these folios, showing me how amazing all this stuff was. And then said, yeah, so I'd love to do this, but there's not really a market for it. I laughed because he just showed me 20 minutes worth of amazing stuff that showed me that there clearly is a market for it. And then the rest of our conversation was about that. Like he'd had this trigger in his mind that had said, he knows the kind of stuff he wants to do. And I know he's capable of it. And he knows he's capable of it now. And he's out there doing it now. And it looks fucking amazing, by the way. But he'd spent 20 minutes showing me this amazing work, and then something in his brain was like, yeah, but I can't do that. There's no market for it. And this kind of thing happens all the time. There's something in our brains that just says, we can't do it. And you can. You can do it. I know you can do it because I've seen it happen with so many other people. And part of my job when I'm working with my clients is to help them realize it too. Because it's been a big part of my journey. It's been a big part of what I've gone through is those limiting beliefs that stop you getting to where you want to go. Because there's something in your head that just says that you can't do it. So to circle back round, I hate corporate speak. So to go back to the start, the way that I work is to take the knowledge and experience that I have and then find which parts of it are useful for you, where you're at, to get to where it is that you want to go. I can give you stories and I can give you experiences and I can give you the knowledge of the decade that I've spent freelancing and everything that I've done in between in order to help you contextualize where you're at. Think about what the next stages might be and then to take those steps for yourself. It's about you. It's about what you want and the path that you want to take to get to it. Because why would it be about anybody else? Mentoring is coaching from somebody who's already been there. And for the things that you're currently going through as a freelancer, it's a likelihood that I've been there. And if I haven't myself, I know enough of freelancers who tell me enough of their stories to be able to share something with you that can help you put what you're experiencing into context. So if that sounds like a way you'd like to work, if you want to improve your current freelance situation, pick the brain of somebody who's already been in your situation and has come through it the other side, a better designer, a better person, more successful business person, then DM me. Let's have a chat.